in this scholarly gathering is a wonderful evening. Everyone, every day we happen to meet or run into people with different traits. It is not quite often we may come across some immediate personality who credential distinctly shines like the Venus star. I feel very much honored to introduce one such great personality this evening. And before I do that, I seek your permission to recite a poem I chanced to read. It went like this. Women are pretty around us. They work all their life for the happiness of others. Some seems to be worthy of their birth, and the rest just endure till death. One fine day they also pass as one among the many, alas. But only the strongest and the thinnest of them all becomes a law and stand tall. They are best of the few of the picked and the found. They are the guardians of justice for the women all around. That is the uniqueness in a lawyer. But today we have here someone who teaches the laws themselves on how to reveal the laws as a protective and mighty weapon. Dear Academians, I would like to state with pride that this conference is honored with the presence of Dr. Dr. Shalini Kashmiria. Dr. Shalini is a professor in the Department of Law at the Himachal Pradesh University in Shimla. Though her credentials have a long list that would last the length of this conference, I will try to the best of my capacity to present a comprehensive statement on a journey in this service as a professor of law. Her total experience of almost 13 years consists of a service in teaching students of law. She is specialized in the area of business law, but she has produced several research papers in many national and international journals on topics of amazing variations such as cybercrimes, biopraise of traditional knowledge, competition policy, IPR issues, biodiversity conservation, and company law. She has been a active participant in many national, international seminars, workshops, and colloquiums. Her presence has adorned as a research person in many programs of various institutions, and her voice has echoed in their halls. Beside this, Dr. Shalini has carried out a project on tribal communities of Himachal Pradesh with the collaboration of Government of India. She has also organized a workshop on the investors awareness. Here is such more to declare honor credentials. But I like to grease all my prizes are right now. And let us hear directly from the Linus herself, Dr. Shalini Kashmiria. We are very much privileged to have your presence here, madam. I cordially invite your good self to take over the session.
Am I audible to everyone? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're very much audible.
All right, thank you.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, dear Steffi, for introducing me. First of all, I'm very much thankful to Cape Cameron Trust for giving me this platform. And my special thanks to the coordinator, Dr. Shelja Vasudeva ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to have such a wonderful audience. Let me share my PowerPoint presentation first, and then we'll have a bit of talk. Is my PPT visible to everybody?
Very clear, ma'am.
All right. So, hello everyone. I was just listening to the previous presentation and I could see that the audience is very curious about the research and the various topics associated with it. So, the topic that I have chosen today to interact with you people is a simple topic, but it has a very meaningful meaning to it. The topic that I'm going to talk to you about is the art of writing research paper in law. And let's switch over to the first slide and see what I want to say. So when we talk about a research paper in law or any research paper, the very first thing is, what is a research paper? Be it social sciences, be it legal research. So research paper, if in common understanding, if we try to understand this concept, it is basically a paper which is written after research. So depending upon the kind of subject you are writing research paper in, the requirements also are different. So we can compare a research paper to somewhat making a movie. And there are certain important ingredients to be kept in mind when we write a research paper. The very first ingredient is choosing our interesting topic. The topic that do justification with the audience you want to target. So what are the requirements of an essential topic? What should be included, what not? We'll do it in the further slides. And the second thing is to do some background research, which means that the topic that you are taking, you should have done some kind of research on that, what we call in social sciences, the literature review, that what is the history related to it, what is the present scenario, and what you want to produce in that. And the third part of it is to produce a research paper bit by bit. That means whenever you write the body of a research paper, it should be written in continuity. That is, the paragraphs should be linked to each other. The paragraphs should not look like some abstract you have taken, like cut, copy and paste kind of thing, because you all know that plagiarism is a sin these days and it leads to infringements of copyright and patents. So there should be some correlation between what you have written in the previous paragraph and the present paragraph. And it continues as such till the end, the conclusions and suggestions. And the last point in this is your research paper should be of such a nature that it should keep your audience intact. That means whatever you are producing, that should keep the interest of the readers who are reading it in it. Switching over to the next slide now. What will be included in a good research paper? Which goes for peer reviews and which is selected. What are the ingredients of that research paper? So the very first, here the word systematize has got nothing to do with your literature review or what you are writing. It means it should be according to the guidelines given by the particular source where you're going to get it published. The way they want the research paper to be published, the way they want the things to be included in it, that should be systematically followed. Second point is it should be logical. Here, the word logical I'm taking up in context of legal studies, because in English, if we write it's fictional, it can be fictional also. But when I'm talking about logical, here logical straightway refers to law, because law is not based upon fiction, although literature review can be part of the usages and the customs, which in turn leads to the formation of law. But once the law is formed, the rules and regulations are framed, thereafter it is just legal or illegal. That is the pure theoretical framework. So when we are doing a legal research writing, it should be logical. And the third point, which is important for every kind of research paper, is that it should be result oriented. That means there should be some kind of findings that comes out of your research paper. It should not be dropped dead on the conclusion. You should be in a position to do justification with the problem you have chosen, and you should be in a position to make some kind of appropriate suggestions related to it, right? So whenever we are planning to write a research paper, we should avoid distractions. Because we must have this feeling that the research paper is a brainchild. It is an idea that has come into our mind, and we should be very cohesive while writing it into a write-up. so as to be read by the audience. So how research paper? Is just simply doing the literature review is going to do justification with the selection of the topic to write a paper? No. Whatever you see, you observe, whatever you listen to, be it a newspaper, be it a news coming in the TV, be you are observing in your society, whatever you are observing, that observation should be associated with the studies, that is the literature review. If some situation has arisen in your society, when we write a research paper, be it a law, be it a situation, be it a case which has been decided by some high court or supreme court, and you want to see the practical applicability of it, and you're finding it there is a lot of hue and cry going on because of this some kind of decision, at that time, it is very much important for a legal researcher who is about to write a research paper, because he's having this idea in his mind now that I want to write a research paper on this. The very first thing he should do is to go through some kind of legal research reading. What was, how it was formed, what the other philosophers are saying about it, and what is the present scenario related to it. And then after reading these things, he should give himself a time to develop some ideas related to it. Whatever topic is circulating in your mind, you develop, and you are thinking, and you are again overthinking about it, and you are trying to recourse to various kinds of literature review related to it. You develop ideas, be it positive, be it negative, be it doubtful, whatever idea is coming in your mind related to it, how, when, why, what, you should develop a habit of writing those ideas on a paper, be it in your mobile, be it on your laptop, or on a paper, because these ideas are basically the building blocks. When you read them and reread them, these ideas basically give you a direction how you have to carry out your research, what exactly you have to search for. And these ideas comes only after doing some kind of legal literature review, right? Now, before writing a research paper, there are certain pre-writing steps which must be taken by a legal researcher. The very first we have explained in detail in the previous slide also, that is to do some kind of reading of legal literature. What are the benefits of doing legal readings? You will have a clarity of thought about the problem that you are thinking of writing about. Secondly, sometimes what happens when you are doing some kind of literature review, you come across some other problems that could arise in future related to the issue you are dealing at the moment. So it also increases the scope of the research that you have undertaken. And sometimes by luck, it also happens that you are conducting some research in India and you come across some kind of research paper who has conducted the similar kind of research in some other country. So that gives an additional advantage to the chart that is going on in your mind you have made. How we can approach this, how we can do justification with this particular kind of research problem. So that is why doing the literature review is the backbone of any kind of research paper. Now the next point, when we are dealing with research in law, we should not think that Google will do everything for us, We must understand that Google can be helpful to you as far as you want to know something about the current updates about a particular phenomena, about a particular law. But when we have to know about the background information of that, or we have to know the broad legal notions related to it, we must go through the offline mode, that is the legal literature, the be it journals, be it primary, be it secondary, that doesn't matter. But you should go through the hard copies of the law as far as the legal research is concerned. Legal research can never be carried out simply based upon the online material, because there is always a doubt relating to the authenticity of the online material. And it is not encouraged, basically. And moreover, it is very much difficult to follow the cross-referencing or the annotations references on the computer. So it is not preferred to do a legal research simply by going through the online material. The next most important part of a legal research before you start writing a research paper is to outline the research paper. Outlining of the main points you have collected so far. Whatever material you collect, you read it, reread it, try to develop some ideas inside your mind, and write down also what is the important part of it. It has been seen among the students basically that the students have the tendency to feel it as a wastage of time to outline it. But no, once you have outlined the main points related to your research problem, which you are going to put up in a form of a legal research paper, this outline helps you a lot, and it opens new paths for you to do your research intensively, right? Switching to the next slide now. These are certain points which you remember whenever we carry out any research, in any field usually. It is always from extensive research to intensive research. It is just like a tunnel. You enter when you are just about to enter a tunnel, you have the universe around you, and once you enter inside the tunnel, then there is only darkness and one light you could see at the other end, and that one light is the intensive research you are doing. And once you reach up to that light, then again you open your suggestions to the world. Sometimes the paper can be exhaustive in nature, also complete in itself, or depending upon the legal subject, it can be dynamic also. That is, you can give the scope of the further researches in a particular field. So keeping that in mind, that you have to go from the universe of study to that is extensive research to the intensive research, from the whatever topic you have taken, extensive material which is available to you globally, then coming to your specific issue related to that particular material, and then working on that particular material cohesively. You have to conduct your research, you have to build up your ideas, you have to shape up your thoughts and opinions, and you have to do your write-up, right? Now here, there are certain things which you have to keep in mind while you do this intensive study related to your topic. The very first thing is that you should see the authentication of the research material you are following. You should try to take the material from authenticated websites, or the material which has the publishing houses and the date of publications, name of the author, or name of the particular source should be there from where you are taking the material, so that there should be some kind of authentication related to your material. And secondly, when you write a legal research paper, you should have a very balanced kind of approach. You should not be biased from the very beginning. Sometimes what happens, we see that something wrong is happening in the society. Let's take an example, some domestic violence is happening in the society, and we need to write a paper on domestic violence. We, by our soul and heart, knows that domestic violence is very bad. And we start writing a paper, XY starts writing a research paper where he is just against the males, that males are causing domestic violence. And once he finishes up with the paper, he comes to know that there is data related to this domestic violence by the females on the males. So this kind of biased opinion should not be there when you approach a topic for research and you want to write a research paper. You should have a very balanced kind of approach, and you should look at both the sides of coin, and then you should come to the conclusion related to some logic, some argument, some standard facts related to it. It should not be just a fiction. It should be something that is happening and affecting public at large, not a single individual, because law is meant for the society, right? And the third part in that is, whenever you are doing a legal research writing, it is a trend to follow the case laws, be it judicial precedents, be it the present case studies. So whatever judgments you are following, please try to put those judgments which are latest. The rule is very simple. If you are quoting something that happened in 1951, then that decision was given by the judge depending upon the society of that time. For example, child marriage was not an offense before independence, but today it is a crime. So you should give and quote the judgments given by the judges, which should be latest, which is affecting the society of the present century. It will have more impact as compared to the previous judgments. The previous judgments can be written there with the purpose of origin of the particular concept. But if you want to make your paper more effective and you want to go through the practical application of it, how it is working, what is happening in judiciary, how it is giving the decisions, then you're supposed to write the judgments which are latest. Now, this is a general kind of thing I'm talking about right now. That is the different kinds of research papers which are written, and it is multidisciplinary at the moment, and I'm just writing it down for your knowledge. Analytical research paper, definitional research papers, compare and contrast research papers, experimental research papers, interpretative research papers or the case studies, and the argumentative research papers. Now, when we are talking about the analytical research paper, the word by itself is indicating that it is basically for the purpose of analysis of something. You're analyzing something. So here the researcher who is writing the paper, he poses a situation, a question, which you call the statement of problem or the research question. And on that research question, the researcher tries to collect the relevant data, that what the other researchers are saying about it. Researchers can be your authors, they can be the case laws, they can be the journals, they can be the judgments, they can be the law by itself. So he collects the entire data relating to that research question, and he basically stress upon the findings and conclusions of those researchers, that what they are concluding on this particular statement, research question. And from those conclusions and findings, he tries to analyze, and after analysis, he writes his own conclusion, which is drawn from the findings and conclusions of the different researchers, right? So these kind of studies can be doctrinal to a great extent, where we go through the literature review and we go through what the particular author is saying about it, and then we take those conclusions and findings, and then we try to build up our own conclusion by analysis, right? The second kind of paper is the definition paper or the descriptive paper. That is the one which is describing something, a particular thing. And these are basically the literal interpretations. It has got nothing to do with liberal interpretation. It is basically dealing with what exactly has been framed. For example, if somebody is writing on an act has been passed, and somebody has to write about that act. So he's explaining that act in his paper. What are the facts given in the act? That means the section, what the sections are saying, and what is the objective of the act, and how these sections are doing justification to